Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the gym. It is your guy, Boulanger. Up next, 2025 NFL free agency. Let's talk. Man, a lot has changed in 72 hours. From the pre-tampering period to the start of the tampering period to today, man. So much has changed in the NFL landscape. You have big name players being released and being re-signed by new teams. You have big name players being traded. You have teams seemingly in rebuild and retool mode. And the Baltimore Ravens have just sat still. And I know as a Baltimore Ravens fan, this is kind of where we are every single off season. We just sit. And all things being true, the season hasn't actually begun yet, or the beginning of the league year hasn't begun yet. It's tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So, you know, a lot of the deals that are being agreed upon won't be official until tomorrow past 4 p.m. And in truth, I do not expect the Baltimore Ravens to do anything today. I just don't. And so we did our work early. We got Ronnie Stanley in house, and now we're just watching and waiting. But in our watching and waiting, what we've actually seen is the Pittsburgh Steelers make a big time trade, picking up DK Metcalf. We saw the Cincinnati Bengals make a few pickups along the defensive front. We saw the Cleveland Browns trade for Kenny Pickett, which means they're going to have some sort of a new regime in Cleveland at quarterback. I think you've seen the last of Deshaun Watson as it pertains to playing quarterback in Cleveland, maybe even in the league as a whole. And I think that the floor has been raised around the AFC North, specifically with some of the moves that you've seen. Pittsburgh also picked up Darius Slay, which is going to be an upgrade over Dante Jackson. So the Pittsburgh still coming to play. They finished second in the division, but I think with their moves, although they don't have a quarterback yet, I think you absolutely see what they're trying to do. They're trying to raise this talent level around whoever's going to be at quarterback. Justin Fields did leave, and I think he signed with the Jets, so he'll be the Jets' new signal caller, 2 years, $40 million. And so it kind of leans into Russell Wilson staying in Pittsburgh and powering that offense, whatever that may look like. You saw Najee Harris from Pittsburgh go to the Chargers. So you just see a lot of movement. And I was going to go live yesterday and had some computer stuff going on. And you guys may have seen me go live on accident this morning, trying to work out the last kinks, because it's just too much to try and record every bit of news, because you would kind of just be recording and editing 17, 18 hours a day. And I just don't have that kind of time. And so, man, there's still some good talent out there for the Baltimore Ravens, but I think that we need to put our names on some talent. As of right now, I think our most pressing need is corner and edge. I'm going to go edge over corner. I think edge because we need somebody to close out on quarterbacks, right? We need somebody to be disruptive. And the best two guys I like for the Baltimore Ravens as of right now is going to be Dante Fowler Jr. and Azeez Ojulari. They're both, as I checked right before recording this video, but hey, as much stuff has been happening, they could be gone by the time this video is done, but they're both still available. And right now the market seems to be set around that 12, $14 million mark, 10 to 16, somewhere in there. And I think both of those guys could come in at those prices and be a benefit to the Baltimore Ravens. We definitely can't just wait on the draft to upgrade the edge rush position. And with the newly acquired DK Metcalf in Pittsburgh, we absolutely are going to need an upgrade at the cornerback position, especially with Metcalf and Pickens out in Pittsburgh. And then you're going to have Chase and Higgins in Cincinnati. Talking about Cincinnati specifically, I thought that Cincinnati was going to tag T. Higgins just for the purpose of trading him, but it sounds more and more like they're going to try and keep him. So it sounds like their MO is going to be outscore people and build a young defense in order to compete. And then Pittsburgh looks like they're just going to just raise their talent level and throw it deep and throw it often, complement it with the run, and play solid defense, man. So it's going to be competitive, man, in the AFC North, just based on what we've seen happen over the last little bit. Some other things that have happened, man, you've seen an explosion of money If we start with the quarterback position, you saw Josh Allen get like a 6-year, $330 million deal. Breaks down to like 55 million. And that kind of leans in for me that Lamar Jackson is the next up to get an extension. Now is the right time for Jackson to get an extension because now is the money making season. Uh, you know, I know some people prefer Allen over Lamar, Lamar over Allen, but I'm just talking about in the context of making money. Now is the time that the Baltimore Ravens could get an extension done, uh, create some cap space, give some money up front, and create some flexibility, which we already need. So an extension would be super beneficial. When we think about the other big time deals, what you saw was, you saw Max Crosby raise the floor and the ceiling, so to speak, for the salary for a top-notch edge rusher. Then you saw Myles Garrett come right on top of that and come in at the most money for a non-quarterback position. I think he's coming in at $40 million. And in fact, I'm glad Cleveland gave Myles Garrett $40 million because what that says to me is that they're going to have to go young and inexperienced in order to compensate for that money or supplement that money. They're going to have to get younger and cheaper around Myles Garrett. But, hey, you used to say Cleveland was cheap, but they're spending that money. They started with Deshaun Watson, and that trickles over into Myles Garrett. And so then so you got those two big money makers, and then you had the Carolina Panthers made J.C. Horn the highest paid corner in the league with a 4-year, $100 million, taking his salary to $25 million. And then what you're going to see after that, you're going to see Sauce Gardner bust through that. He's going to come in between 28 and 30 million. And so what that does, in fact, that actually raises the floor for salary for the mid-tier guys, right? So your top-notch guys, take it up another $5, $8, $10 million in salary. That's going to raise their floor for compensation as well. So you're just going to see, man, an explosion of money as the salary cap continues to go up. There is going to be no savings for the ownership groups. It's going to have to be spent. That's what we're learning. And so, man, a lot has changed in the NFL, and I'm not just really sure where we are in Baltimore, right? I'm not really sure what we're going to do to create cap space or be a trade. Is there going to be some cuts? Is there going to be some restructures? I think all of those things are on the table. And I think we'll see something happen between now and 4 o'clock tomorrow because we have to be under the cap. I have not looked to see how Ronnie Stanley's new contract hits our books. And so that's the first order of business. But again, I knew that it would be this way. So I'm not even really tripping because we just don't have any money. But it does make you jealous. It does make you jealous to see the teams around you seemingly get better as they spend tons of cash to build a team, and you just continue to kind of sit on the edge of your seat hoping that we get some players to fill some roles. So let me hit a couple other positions before I close out. Wide receiver, we need some depth, and really your top 5 to 6 guys are already off the board. T. Higgins, Chris Godwin, Darius Slayton. Who else? And some other guys. You did see some Cooper Kupp news that he will be released if there's no deal done by a trade done by Wednesday. So maybe we just sit still and get Cooper Kupp when he becomes available. If we can, I think he will be a great fit. And maybe he's not that 6'3" or above wide receiver, but he is 6'2", 205 plus pounds. So he kind of fits a little bit of a big body wide receiver. So maybe we can get him as an upgrade in that third option for receiver. Let's see who else and what else. Man, when you look at corner, not a lot of big names left. You got guys like Rasul Douglas. You got Stephon Gilmore. Both of those guys are veterans. At this point, I would probably take Douglas over Gilmore. But nevertheless, man, this talent is getting ate up quick. One more thing, we saw a big move by Houston. They flipped Laremy Tunsil for 4 picks. Big move by by Houston, which looks like they're going to work to build their team offensive line wise in the draft. And so, man, it's just going to be super exciting for the contenders. It's going to be an exciting time for the mid-tier guys who or mid-tier teams who are trying to compete. And then you're going to see a lot of the basement teams get better because they had money to spend. And so, man, I'll come back, man. We will go live probably 4 or 5 o'clock today after some more news trickles in. We'll kind of update and see if the Baltimore Ravens have made any moves. And until then, man, I'm your guy Boulanger. This is the GM, and I'm out.